Hello friends, we're here in Dickinson, North Dakota with Erin Dykert at her body art establishment. And it's named Wicked Ease. I hope you're doing well. We're going to let Erin tell a little bit about herself, how she got into the body art profession, and tell anything else she feels comfortable saying. And we'll talk about some of her procedures, hopefully. And let her have the floor.
All right, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Erin Dykert and I am the owner and sole operator of Wicked Ease Body Piercing in Dickinson, North Dakota. I have been piercing for about 12 years now, give or take a few months, and I love my job. I come to work every day, I get to meet great people, I don't have to deal with customer service issues like working in other places. When people come in to see me, they're coming in for something fun, something they want, and they're excited to be here. It's a little funny, people are paying me to hurt them, but they come in and they get to get their fantastic piercing. This is not even remotely close to what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. This job sort of just fell into my lap. My brother and sister-in-law My sister-in-law opened in the flesh tattoo about 20 years ago, and my brother started tattooing with her, and then he started piercing, and he wanted to focus on tattooing, so they were looking to hire a new piercer. I double majored in secondary education, so I always wanted to be a teacher, and turns out that's not where my life went. And he trained me in to become a body piercer. I did about a 9-month stint where I was just his apprentice. I followed him around, was learning all the different techniques, different training procedures, stuff like that. After about 9 months of training, I got to start piercing on actual people instead of just dummies and things like that. And we did guinea pig days for a while where people knew that I was learning, that I was new. There was a good chance I could screw up, but everything was free as long as they were okay with me practicing on them. It was terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. The first person that came in that was ready to go, it was a tougher piercing, something I wasn't super comfortable with. It wasn't like an earlobe. And I bet it took 5 minutes before I could get my hands to stay steady because I was so nervous. I was shaking so bad. All of my people were awesome. They were great. Yes, I did have a few screw-ups, but everybody was good with it. There is a lot more involved in this job than people realize. It is more than just grab a needle and poke it in and put an earring in somebody's ear. You have to learn so many different things that I was not even remotely aware of when I started. I do anything from earlobes to below the belt piercings, and I had to go outside of the state to learn how to do some of them because my brother did not offer those at the time, and there was a lot of demand for them, so I went out of state to do my training for that with a different studio. I am certified with bloodborne pathogens training yearly. I am CPR and first aid certified. Before the pandemic, I had started going to Las Vegas once a year. There is the Association of Professional Piercers conference and convention that they do every summer, and they offer courses where you're actually in a classroom learning new techniques, new aftercare. You're allowed to sit there and talk with other piercers to learn what techniques work for them and what don't. There is just a lot more to it than people realize. I pierce people from all walks of life. Sometimes people look at me and I'm the oddball in the industry because I am not super decked out. Yes, I do have a few piercings, but ultimately I do not fit the look that most people think of when they think of a body piercer. I am very simple and I'm not decked out with piercings and tattoos. I see people from all age groups. Primarily, I would say my main age group for people coming in is probably teenage girls, but I also get people. I had a woman come in on her 75th birthday and she wanted her nose pierced. I mean, I get all age groups, and people have things hidden that you wouldn't expect. As far as what I do in a day, I mean, earlobes are always popular. It's starting to become more popular for people to come into piercing studios versus going to malls and getting pierced with guns. A lot of people are starting to shy away from doing it in boutiques and stuff like that where they use piercing guns just because it's healthier for the skin. So I am starting to see an uptake in children coming in, which is great. However, I'm pretty picky about it. I won't pierce children under the age of 7. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's just my personal policy. Aftercare is a big thing. People don't realize that you have to take care of your piercings just like you would any other wound. And listening to instructions is key. Yes, people do come back with issues and I'm always here to help and troubleshoot, but if it's not taken care of properly, you can always have issues. I mean, you can have issues even if you do take care of it properly, but you do need to follow aftercare instructions. My biggest recommendation with people looking to come in for a body piercing, wherever you go, make sure you're comfortable. Ask questions, make sure the person you're going to is able to answer all of your questions before you get it done. I would say the hardest thing for me is telling people no. There are piercings that I will not do simply because they shouldn't be done. Just because you can have it doesn't mean you should. For example, the tip of the tongue, that is becoming popular, where people are actually putting a horizontal bar through the very tip of their tongue, and it is terrible. It can chip your teeth, it can interrupt the way you speak. It's just a bad idea, and it's gaining popularity, and I will not do that. And I do get upset customers when I tell them no, but I am a business. Ultimately, if I'm telling you no, there is a very good reason why. I want your business. I want you to be happy when you leave here. There are a bunch of ear piercings. People come in with photos. Oh, I'd like this done. And they show me a picture of this ear that has, a triple piercing done. But their ear looks nothing like the ear in the picture and they're not suited for it. And sometimes you just have to be willing to tell people no. And it's never fun being told no, but once in a while, you just have to make the right judgment call. So yeah, I guess that's my job. When I was saying earlier, bringing kids in, and that's becoming more popular with parents bringing their kids in to do just a typical earlobe piercing, just a basic earlobe. I highly recommend bringing somebody into a studio where the person is trained, they've been taught how to do things, how to measure, instead of just going to a mall where people they are trained. I'm not saying they're not. There is training involved in it. But it is just so much healthier for your skin to be pierced with a needle versus a piercing gun. With piercing guns, they're just using that trigger pull to force an earring into your skin. Earrings are the decoration. They're not meant to do the actual piercing. They're pointy, but they're not sharp enough. They're not sharp to pierce your ear. They're using that force to push it through. What those piercing guns are doing is they are just separating your tissue. With a piercing needle, it's actually a hollow needle, and we pierce your ear and then put the earring in after. We create a hole, a direct path for the earring to sit in. We are removing a little piece of tissue. It is very different than using a piercing gun. The piercing guns cause a lot more damage to your tissue because of the way they're used. Scar tissue becomes a little more prominent, and places are starting to change policies. Things are changing. When I was in high school, which is years and years ago, but I used to have my whole ear pierced all the way up and down on the one side, and they were all done with piercing guns. And I have many, many scars on my ear. They never healed right. They were always sore. I bet I had them in for 20 years before I finally took them out, let them close, and now I'm redoing them the right way. And it makes a world of difference in how it heals. So I guess my biggest recommendation is definitely go to a place where you're comfortable, sit down and talk with the piercer, ask all of your questions, make sure you're comfortable with their knowledge and that they're able to answer everything. If you have issues come up afterwards, call them, come in to see them, show them what's going on. That way they can troubleshoot and try to figure out what's happening. We're not born with these things. We're not supposed to have them, and sometimes problems come up. Whether you follow the directions to a T, just sometimes things go wrong. This is my basic startup kit for when I'm getting a tray ready, when I have somebody come in that wants something. All of these rows here are just different size of needles, and the size depends on the type of piercing that they're having done. Everything I use is single use, except for my clamps, things like that, which go through an autoclave and get sterilized before they're reused again. But even my markers, when I draw little dots for the placement, those get thrown away after every single person. Down here are just different types of clamps that I use. This one here specifically is for septums. I use these ones over here for multiple different types of piercings. Those are pretty much my go-tos. This drawer over here has pretty much all of my starter jewelry for initial piercings. When I do the original piercing on people, I generally don't have a big selection for them to choose from. It's just a standard plain looking silver piece. It is a high grade metal. I use surgical grade stainless steel and titanium to help prevent metal allergies. They're really high quality metals so that people don't get skin irritations, things like that. I don't use the decorative stuff with diamonds and rhinestones to start everything, because a lot of the time when they go through the autoclave, depending on the type of jewelry, the glue will become weak because they get cooked at such a high temp. It doesn't always happen, but so for me in my place, it's usually just a plain Jane piece to start with. Let's see. Down here are different pliers, opening and closing pliers, which help you open and close different earrings, things like that. Up here, just all of my aftercare brochures. I do verbally go through everything with people after the procedure, just to make sure they know, and they do have to acknowledge that I have told them how to take care of it. And then I also send pamphlets home with all of the information so that they have it in front of them, so they don't forget what I've told them. Let's see, and then if you want to go out there, we've got a little bit more of the decorative body jewelry. Our shop sells a little bit of everything. We have 2 tattoo artists right now, and one of them is big into painting. That's why there's paintings all over the place, because he's awesome. Let's see. Down here, just little bits of decorative body jewelry. Stuff for eyebrows, nostrils, belly buttons, you name it, I've got it.
We want to thank Erin for being gracious enough to tell her story about the body piercing. We hope you're doing well. There wouldn't be anything wrong with coming and visiting Erin, and she can hook you up with whatever piercing you need. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you farther down the road.